Well, howdy, football fans, and welcome to the Yellow Jacket Football Show. I'm Carl Gurgis with my sidekick, Coach James Gage of your Alvin Yellow Jackets. Well, last week, Shadow Creek 49 are at Yellow Jackets 13. And, Coach, I think if you summed it up in 3 words, it would be speed, speed, and speed.
I think you could probably throw one more speed on the end there. Those guys were fast the other night. Their team speed was really, really impressive. So, it was a good Friday night. Beautiful weather, beautiful atmosphere. We played them as tough as we could for a first half, and then we just ran out of gas. But,
well, I think we did a good job. We rushed for 265 net yards. Bokel had 78. 5.8 average. In fact, most of the averages were very, very good. 5.8 for Bokel. Torres had, I think it was 5.7. Ernst went 54 yards. Deshaun Peterson, almost 6 yards per carry.
Yeah, we distributed the ball very well the other night. And we knew going into the game that our best defense Friday night was going to be our offense. And we tried to stay on the field as long as we could and move the ball. And you take about 3 possessions out of the game Friday night, we felt like we had a really good night offensively. But a team like Shadow Creek, they're so explosive. It was 14-13 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. After a long kickoff return, we gave them a short field, and then the first possession of the second half, you look up and it's 35-13, and it kind of got away from us.
Well, Jackets had 300 net yards, Shadow Creek 299. The fumbles, of course, hurt, and that's the killer. Always is.
Yeah, turnovers were, and earlier in the year, we were doing a good job of creating more turnovers than we were, giving up. But these last couple of weeks, they've kind of leveled out. So we've preached to our kids this week, we've got to get back to winning the turnover battle. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you turn over the ball 3 times, you're going to struggle. But when you're playing a team like Shadow Creek that's as explosive as they are, you give them 3 extra possessions, they're going to make you pay. Absolutely.
Well, I know you've got some good film highlights, and we're going to get back to that in just a second. So we'll be back with you in a few seconds. Well, Coach, let's look at some of the highlights from last Friday night's evening game with Shadow Creek, and I know we've got some good ones.
Yes, sir. Let's look at them. All right, starting off on the defensive side of the ball. This was early in the game. Gage Johnson, our safety right there, comes over number 2 and delivers a big hit on the receiver. We told him early on we weren't going to back down, and every chance we had to go right at him, we were going to. And so Gage timed it up perfect. Watching live, I thought maybe he got there a little early, but going back and watching the film, he timed it as good as you could possibly time it. And with the big hit right there, and doesn't allow the guy to catch the ball. So just kind of a tone setter that, hey, we were there to play that night.
Good.
Great way to start the game. All right, Gavin Guthrie coming off the edge there on a little blitz. He lets the quarterback get out of the pocket. Duke Butler, Coach Butler's son over there, great athlete, throws the ball well, but deceptively fast too. So he gets out of the pocket here. But our senior outside linebacker, R.J. Freeman right there, gets off the block and delivers a great hit right there on the sideline. We moved R.J. to the defensive side of the ball about 3 weeks ago, and he's kind of found a home over there. And he played more the other night than he's played all year, but he played really well, did some good things for us. So, again, great job getting off the block and making the tackle right there. All right, so this was after our first turnover. It was a 14-7 game, and we kind of gave them a short field, and our defense stood tall. This was 4th down, and there comes Gavin Guthrie again doing what he does best, coming off the edge and delivering a big hit on the quarterback there. And Larry Vahacek was Johnny on the spot to fall on it, kind of wrestled it away from the quarterback. But 4th and 7, I think, was the play. And so we brought pressure and got to him and delivered the big play, gave it back to our offense. And our offense went down and actually scored to make it 14-13 after this. All right, so again, this just kind of shows you that's a little bit of how shifty some of their guys were. That's RJ coming free off the edge. Looks like he's got a tackle. The guy spins out of it, but the pursuit right there by our defense, again, we've been preaching that the last couple of weeks. I think that's Daniel Cantu in there, Jimmy Beasley. You got Christian Pierce. You got a bunch of guys running to the football right there. Matthew Gonzalez is in on the play a little bit there. Hard to tell. Gio Gutierrez coming off from the corner position. So just a lot of guys running to the football. Donnie Abalez coming in late in the game playing safety and made a couple of plays. So just really good to see some of those guys that got in the game to have the opportunity to go make some plays.
Well, as we said at the outset, too, you can't be too sure with a team like Shadow Creek. You got to have pursuit and you got to have team play.
Yeah, absolutely. So we preached the first guy get there, wrap him up, and let the cavalry come behind and try to knock the ball out. So gang tackles against these guys are what you got to do. All right, moving over to the offense side of the ball. This is the first play of the game. We only throw the ball about 6 times a game, so we decided we were going to get one of those out of the way first play, and Deshaun Peterson comes wide open. The film kind of gets caught, but we hit Deshaun Peterson there in the flat for an 18-yard gain to start the game. So that got us almost out to midfield, and so really good way to start the game. Good protection. It's just a normal bootleg, but great protection by our offensive line, and then Trevor found the open fullback there for a big play to start the game. All right, so they were manning up our running backs, and so we said that we were going to, try to false motion them a little bit. So we motioned the back across the field. You can see the safety flies across, basically takes himself out of the play, so we don't even have to worry about blocking him. And then Trevor does a good job slipping a tackle and getting 15 yards. He's again, we've talked about him the last couple of weeks. He keeps getting better and better. Yeah. But you see right there the offensive line. Finn Matting gets a great block on the linebacker. Our center, Sebastian Cisneros, and Dashel Foster do a good job comboing the nose right there. And then Daniel Bloom comes in right there and pops 94 under the chin and gets the big hit. But just to kind of, again, this was early in the game, kind of a tone setter. You can see our offensive line really played well the other night. Just played really physical, and that's what we've been preaching to those kids, is we want to play more physical than the teams we're getting ready to play.
Well, as you said, too, Trevor's really improved from the very beginning. That's the whole concept anyway.
Yeah, and he's just gained so much more confidence being the guy and taking every snap. He's taken probably 95% of our snaps this year, and so that's just really, really helped his confidence. All right, so this was 7-0 game, and this was our big play from the other night. Deshaun Peterson busts through. We preach to our quarterbacks and our running backs about carrying out their fakes if they don't have the ball. And you can see, Trevor gives a little bit of a fake, but the running back's running full speed. And you can see from the start, the backside safety runs completely right by the fullback. Doesn't even know the fullback has the ball. So, that's one reason we preach to those guys to carry your fakes out. And then Deshaun does a great job hugging the block right there of Lance Savage and Yahir Meza, and then just gets in the open field and then again shows his speed. Those guys from Shadow Creek were fast, and so we told him, if you get out in the open, you better run because they're going to be chasing you, and he was going to make sure they didn't catch him.
14 carries, 81 yards, and there's the 44-yard touchdown scamper. He's pretty fast.
He's got some speed. He ran track last year and kind of loosened up a little bit. And, he's deceptively fast. With a football, I think he's faster with a football in his hand than without one. So, but he's having a tremendous year for us. All right, again, so there's the triple option working to perfection again. We're not always looking for the 40 or 50-yard plays. We're looking for the 6, 7, 8, 9-yard plays. Get a great block by Cole Ernst out there on the perimeter, and then again Trevor just with the confidence. They tackle the fullback. He reads it correctly, and once he gets green grass, he's going to take it and run. And so it looks like he doesn't have much, and then you look up and he's got 80 yards rushing or so on the night. But there's a lot of times where he's getting 5, 6, 7 yards. So anytime we're doing that, we're okay with it.
15 carries, 80 yards, 5.8 average. Not bad.
He's getting, these last 3 games, he's really turned it on and excelled. And hopefully these last 3 weeks we can get the same productivity out of him. All right, this was our second touchdown here. Again, he scored on the midline last week, and so we came back to it this week down on the goal line. And again, that thing opens up. Ball bounces out there, but we were, they called him across the line for a touchdown. He actually recovered his own fumble, so we try to get him to put 14 points on the board for us since he scored twice. But it was a great job executing. He reads it correctly again. They tackle the fullback, so he's taught when they do that to pull it. And then Daniel Bloom right there doesn't get the best block, but he makes the guy go underneath him, and that's what we coach him to do. That guy goes underneath and opens up that hole for Trevor to get into. And then again, right here on the edge, Finn Matting blocking 25 right there. Gets just enough of him, does his job to where we can get underneath and score. All right, and then this was late in the game. Get a great block right there by R.J. Jarvis. We read it, we get the pull by the quarterback, and this time we actually get to the third phase of the option. We pitch it to Cole Ernst there, but gets a big play right there set up by the block by R.J. Jarvis on the perimeter. And RJ weighs maybe 145 pounds, but the one thing he does is he plays low, and we've taught him that if you're ever going to play, you've got to play down there at their knees, and he does a really good job doing that on the perimeter.
Junior, senior?
He's a senior. Cole Ernst, the kid catching the ball, is a junior. Get a great block right there by Trevor Hoffman on the crack block, but just a really well-executed play. We switch blocked it on the perimeter, so our receiver goes to crack the safety, and then the running back gets out there to the corner to open up the edge for us. So just a really well-executed play.
Well, as we said, 300 net yards for the Jackets, 299 for Shadow Creek. It's just a matter of when you got them and what Shadow Creek did. And as I said, speed, and speed. Of course, we lost 3 fumbles, and that's what really hurt.
And that's what we told our kids this week was 300 yards of offense and 17 first downs is a good night, but we only had 13 points.
Yeah.
And so we've got to find a way to get more points on the board. We can't allow the turnovers. I think we turned the ball over inside the 21 time. We turned it over at midfield. So those are the things that kind of held us back. We got to learn how to get out of our own way and make those turnovers, turn those into touchdowns and points and get more points on the board.
Yeah, and I put down a punt snap that we dropped. Shadow Creek takes over, excellent position. Little things like that.
Little things like that. We give up the kickoff return, then we drop the snap, and then they got the ball again to start the second half, and it went from a 14-13 game with about 5 minutes to go in the first half to 35-13 about a minute into the second half. So
yeah, and it's where you make the mistakes too. That's a key thing too.
So and our kids are learning. They're week by week. We're trying to correct as much as we can, but there's only so much you can get corrected. And so little things each week we're trying to get fixed, and those are the little things we keep preaching to those kids.
Well, I'm sure a coach like you always want a perfect performance, but we're humans, and those things are just going to happen.
That's part of the game, but you just hope that you make a few less mistakes than the opponents.
But it has improved so much during the year, and that's the key. And you got 3 games left or something like that?
3 games guaranteed left, yes, sir.
Well, okay then. Friday night, Pearland, Dawson, right? In Pearland.
Yes, sir.
I'll get it straight here in a minute. 7 o'clock kickoff at the Pearland Stadium, and I'm sure you're hoping for a good crowd from Alvin. Let's get them over there.
Yeah, we, going over to Dawson next week where we play in Pearland. It's always a tough place to play, and it's their homecoming, so they'll have a good crowd there, and they're going to show up and they're going to be excited. But we've been telling our kids too that we're excited too about the opportunity to go play.
Well, we got 3 left?
We got 3 games guaranteed, yes sir. So
okay.
we don't have a lot of time left, and so we're telling our kids each practice is important, each game's important, and we're going to go over to Pearland Friday, and we're going to show up ready to play. So
7 o'clock, Pearland. And your Yellow Jackets against Dawson. So if you can make the game, I know that the Yellow Jacket fans would love to have you over, okay? We'll see you next week.
We got Players of the Week.
That's right, we do got Players of the Week.
That's the second
time I've forgotten that. You need to tie a ribbon around the hand. I won't forget it the next time. Stay with us. We got Players of the Week. Coach, we got Players of the Week, and I know that's a highlight point of our show, so let's take over, okay?
All right, let's do it. So our kids each week, they look forward to seeing who is the Players of the Week, and this week you see we got number 51 and number 60, so we decided to give it 2 of our offensive linemen. When you have 300 yards of offense and 265 being rushing, you tend to give it to those offensive linemen. So Lance Savage and Sebastian Cisneros, 2 seniors. Lance is our left tackle, and Sebastian's our starting center.
Well, you don't want to mess around with those 2 guys. They're pretty good size anyway.
Well, Savage looks mean, but realistically, he's only about 180 pounds. So
I'm sure we won't.
I think it's the angle of the picture, but no, he plays a lot bigger than what he is. He had a good night the other night. Our defensive player this week was senior Gavin Guthrie. His name keeps popping up week by week, whether it's defensive player of the week, big hit, big play, special teams. He's just all over the field for us, and he's having a tremendous senior season for us. Played really, really well the other night defensively, but you can say that pretty much every week for him.
Yeah.
Our big play of the game was the Deshaun Peterson, the 44-yard touchdown run there early in the game. Here it was right there again, just hiding behind those offensive linemen and then breaking out into the open field. And, again, when he's out in the open field, he's hard to catch.
Yeah.
And so just a big play for us. That got us right back in the ball game, made it 7-7, and gave us a chance to get right back in the middle of it.
When he hits that line, too, he just accelerates through that thing.
Yes, sir. And that's he has really good feet and really good vision, and that's what you want in your fullback. And it helps that he's 6'2", 195 pounds too.
Never hurts.
But when you can run, you got good vision, you got feet, you're typically a good football player, and he's got all 3 of them.
14 carries, 81 yards, 6 yards per carry, and of course the long rat.
Yes, sir. The big play right here.
44 yards.
Yes, sir. All right, so our big hit from Friday night came from Gage Johnson, senior number 2. We showed the clip earlier where he came across from the field, and they tried to throw the fade there on the sideline, and he timed it up perfect and hit the kid right in the chest. We got the play right here. at first maybe pass interference, but as you watch the film, he timed it about as good as you could possibly time it. And again, this was the first series of the game, kind of set the tone. So big hit of the night. Anytime you get it from the first play of the game, just has a chance to kind of send the message that, hey, we're here to get after you.
Hit like that, the ball comes up in the air. You could possibly have had an interception, so you never know.
Well, and what it does too is this athlete from Shadow Creek, number 4, in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking the rest of the night, ooh, that one kind of hurt a little bit. So.
Also, you see the kids from our team, they look at it and think, well, I'd like to have that piece of that action.
Yeah, absolutely. They get fired up over it. So just a big hit to set the tone, but again, just a great way to start the game defensively. And then our offensive crushes from this week go to Daniel Bloom and then Finn Matting. Again, I think this is the 3rd or 4th time Daniel Bloom's got it this year, and I think it's the 2nd time Finn's got it. But Daniel had a great block out in the open. He kind of got right across someone's chest and knocked him on the rear end, and then Finn did a great job and got someone cut real hard on the backside. But just 2 good jobs on those guys' part this week. But every week, it's hard for us to figure out who the offensive crush is going to be because those guys are all trying to get that award. So, but this week we did give it to senior Daniel Bloom and then junior Finn Matting.
Well, you do a good job of getting all of the guys to get as many of them as you possibly can, too, because it's a team effort.
It is. And, those kids, they want that certificate we give them. We give them a little award with it. So they want that award and they want that recognition. So.
Well, we'll be back next week with highlights of the game with Dawson. We hope you'll join us. For Carl Gurgis, Coach Gage, thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week. And good luck, Yellow Jackets, against Dawson.
Jacket pride never dies.
Let's hear it, Alvin, for your Yellow Jacket. Number 35, Dejon Peterson, touchdown, Yellow Jackets.